At least 9 people have been killed and 37 injured after Russian forces launched multiple rocket strikes on the eastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv in what appeared to mark a change in tactics by Moscow towards bombing of civilian areas. Video showed dozens of Grad missiles raining down on the center of Ukraine's second biggest city, landing among residential buildings. The attack came despite a call between the French President, Emmanuel Macron, and Vladimir Putin in which, according to the Élysée Palace, the Russian president had said he was willing to commit to ending attacks on civilians and civil infrastructure while peace talks in Belarus were underway. Other video footage filmed on Monday shows a series of Russian missiles pulverizing the center of Kharkiv. Ukraine's former defense minister Andriy Zagorodniak said Russia was now using multiple rocket launcher systems to target civilian infrastructure. Grad attacks were taking place in Kyiv and Mariupol, amid Kremlin frustration that a military breakthrough had not yet been achieved. Elsewhere in Ukraine, there was a relative lull in the capital, Kyiv, where supermarkets were reopened. More than 70 Ukrainian servicemen were killed by a Russian rocket attack and dozens of civilians have died in barbaric shelling of an army base in the town of Okhtyrka, between Kharkiv and Kyiv. Ceasefire talks between Russia and its southern neighbor on Monday failed to reach a breakthrough and negotiators have not said when a new round would take place. Russian forces are closing in on the capital of Ukraine. To make a decisive assault, Russia is sending a huge column of military force. A Russian military convoy, which stretches for about 40 miles, is currently heading towards Kyiv, showed satellite images taken by a US private company on Monday. It is way larger than the 17 miles reported earlier in the day. The convoy comprises hundreds of tanks and other support vehicles. Additional ground forces deployments and ground attack helicopter units could also be seen in southern Belarus, which is less than 20 miles north of the Ukraine border, as per satellite image provider Maxar Technologies. Hungary said on Monday it would not allow weapons to be transported through its territory after the European Union pledged military aid to Kyiv. Prime Minister Viktor Orban has sought to foster close ties with Moscow, but Hungary has closed ranks with the rest of the EU on tough sanctions against Russia. The Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjarto said that, "We will not allow the transfer of deadly weapons across the Hungarian territory. These shipments can easily become the target of military attacks," Szijjarto said. "Our most important task is to guarantee the safety of the country and the Hungarian people, therefore we must not get involved in the war taking place next door." As the conflict between Russia and Ukraine escalates, Orban faces greater pressure than ever to choose between Moscow and Hungary's Western partners, but is showing increasing signs that he may continue to straddle the line between the two. Speaking to journalists, Orban said his country would support all proposed EU sanctions against Moscow, and acknowledged that Russia has invaded Ukraine. Szijjarto's announcement that Hungary will not allow weapons to transit through Hungary was met with dismay among security experts. In case of an escalation of the war to the level of Russia attacking NATO countries, Hungary has an obligation to join NATO forces. Warships and high-level delegations representing navies from 40 countries are taking part in Milan 2022, the Indian Navy's 9-day multilateral exercises, which got underway on February 25 in Visakhapatnam. The Naval Jamboree is being held in 2 phases, with the harbour phase scheduled from February 25 to 28 and the sea phase from March 1 to 4. In this edition of the biennial naval exercises, the focus is on exercises at sea, including exercises in surface, subsurface and air domains and weapon firings. Operational conferences and seminars are also being conducted, providing participating navies and their delegations an opportunity to express their views on maritime security. On February 25, the P-8A, the United States Navy's Boeing multi-mission maritime patrol, surveillance and reconnaissance aircraft, landed at Indian naval ship Dega. The Milan naval exercises were first held in 1995, with the participation of Indonesia, Singapore, Sri Lanka and Thailand at the Tri-Services Andaman and Nicobar Command. The Joe Biden-led administration in the United States has said that China will not come to Russia's rescue over the sanctions imposed by Western countries after Vladimir Putin's launch of a military operation in Ukraine. China and Russia have been allies. Being a formidable economic partner of Russia, China has supported Moscow's security interests and its opposition to NATO. However, at the same time, Beijing is being cautious to not fully endorse Russia's actions. A slew of financial and economic sanctions have been imposed on Russia after its full-scale attack on Ukraine, which has killed number of civilians. These sanctions include blocking of assets of Russian banks, imposing export controls along with asset freeze and travel bans on Russian individuals. On Saturday, the United States, the European Union and the United Kingdom announced the sanctioning of Russia's central bank and blocking the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. The blockage of SWIFT will restrict Russia's access to global financial markets. Additionally, the country heavily relies on SWIFT for its crucial oil and gas exports.